Just disclaimer, on duty, but we're not drinking.
Correct.
Nope, this is just a game.
Hey, yes, and that is how you do it.
That's it.
Oh, story of my life.
Oh! Just call for backup.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Oh, he's calling again.
So, Tracie and Craig, you guys are married.
Yes.
Captain,
Yes.
police chief. How does that work? That's impressive. And if you
Some days better than others.
and you've never been interviewed officially together.
No, not that I can think
not in a
of.
row.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yay, first try.
That was amazing. We're here with Tracie and Craig Meidl, in seniority order, captain of the Spokane Police Force and police chief of the Spokane Police Force. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Thanks
for having us.
So with everything going on, what impact has this had on your family?
You know, for us, it's a couple different layers, really. You know, one is really we obviously are supposed to stay home, and we are, but we have a lifestyle where we're used to going out. You know, when we are off of work and on the weekends, you will typically find us going out, going to restaurants, going to different stores. Well, that's all changed now, and it's changed for the kids as well. So for us, the impact of being home has really caused us to have to adjust what we're doing. And I would say, you know, we're actually doing a lot more things together as a family, putting together puzzles. You know, we've talked about playing games, having a lot more conversations because there's nowhere else to go. And now our kids who are teenagers are stuck with us. They have nowhere to go. So for us, it's been a really good bonding opportunity.
And our daughter so her classes are obviously online and their teachers are reaching out through email. And one of the emails said, "This is going to be really hard for you extroverts, but this is what the introverts have been dreaming of for years." And so our kids are actually opposite. Our son's an introvert and kind of a homebody, so he's fine with everything and nothing's really changed for him, but our daughter is a social butterfly, so she's struggling a little
Learning
bit.
a lesson.
Yeah.
Well, that's the silver lining to all this is families coming together. You know, families having dinner together, families playing games together. There's a little bit of a silver lining there. What impact have you seen it have on the force?
Boy.
You know, it runs.
Lot.
Yeah, it has. And I will say we actually had conversations about this morning at our executive staff meeting. For us, what I've noticed though, it runs the full gamut. You have people who, quite frankly, they look at this as much concern as if they were going to get a cold. And then you have other people who are extremely concerned and very nervous, and then you have that full gamut in between. And for us, it's looking at providing the preventative measures, all the personal protective equipment that they need, constantly reinforcing that social distancing while also acknowledging that in our line of work, part of our job is to engage with the public at all times. There's never going to be a time where we can say, we are not going to engage with you. That's what the community expects us to do. So if you were to interview 10 different people, you'd probably get 10 different statements about how they feel about what's going on right now.
And our calls are different. We've been telling people if they can come outside to talk to us, that would be preferred. And to minimize some of our bookings into jail, some of our low-level offenders, we are merely citing and releasing. And then the courts, when they actually reopen, will provide summonses for those to appear.
Yeah, and I would add one of the other things too is that it's not just what has changed in how we do our job, how we engage with the community, but all of our officers live in the community. So they're impacted. When you walk into a store and you're used to being able to pick up whatever you want, whenever you want, and now you and your spouse and your family, you're walking into stores and you're seeing empty shelves consistently day after day, that has an impact. And it would be nice to be able to say, turn that off when you come to work. But when we have families and when we're actually seeing this ourselves, you know, it does. And I have to say our department has stepped up. Our officers do a really good job of shutting that off, putting on their uniform and going out to keep the community safe. But it would not be fair to say they are able to forget about what's going on in the home front at the grocery stores as well.
And I would also add that, you know, we have those essential and non-essential workers. And obviously law enforcement is an essential job. And so we can't choose to stay home. And we signed up for that, and that's perfectly acceptable by us. But at the same time, we have families at home. We have young kids at sometimes people are caregivers to their elderly parents. And so we have to be extremely cautious with decontaminating ourselves if we feel like we've come into contact with someone that might be affected by the virus.
Through all this, what have you seen in the community? Because there's been so many cool community stories, but you guys personally, how's the community impacted you?
They've stepped up tenfold, and Spokane's a great community anyway. Everyone comes together anytime there's a crisis. We've seen different groups come together and provide safety equipment. Some of our Spokane Chinese Association donated several hundred masks to the police department. And here you have a community who can, sometimes be negatively impacted by this virus that are showing up.
Yeah, and we've had restaurants step up, we've had bakeries step up and let us know they're thinking of us by delivering cakes. We've had a business downtown that has offered to decontaminate all of our cars. They say, bring your car in, we'll get you done in 10 minutes, decontaminate your car. I think from a work perspective, we have really appreciated the community stepping up to show how much they appreciate what we're doing. And that resonates with officers. When they come in and they can tangibly see something that manifests the community support for us, that goes a long ways for their morale and for the knowledge that they know the community's out there supporting them.
There's going to be a lot of lessons.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be lessons on were we prepared or not, how can we prepare again, but really there's lessons in the small business. It's put small business on this pedestal of, no, these are people's lives, these are families, these are kids that their livelihood depends on it. It's not the big box place. And like you said, Spokane, they answered the call. Spokane, whatever needed to be done, they do. I've seen more money raised on GoFundMes. I had a friend that put up a GoFundMe for something different. You'd think now would be a time that's harder to give. They raised almost $10,000 in 2 days. Wow. And it was well over what they were asking for. And it's just stuff like that. You're seeing really, really cool stuff like that that brings out the best in people.
Yeah, you really are. I think it was easy to take advantage of all the neat shops and restaurants and all the things that Spokane had. We're a growing community. We're growing very quickly. And the dynamics of the landscape changed over the last 4 or 5 years. And I think we took that for granted to some extent. But what this has driven home as well is that we have an amazing community here with all of these amazing establishments that are very, very unique. And you've seen everyone rally around each other and rise up to support that community.
Yeah.
So we have not just law enforcement, but we have our healthcare workers and our law enforcement that are out there putting themselves in danger each and every day. So when a community member can just come up and say thank you, obviously from afar, that goes a long way.
Those little things will right now make a huge difference. Like they will, I know my wife's a nurse and she's more stressed and she's been in a really long time, and just little things are having a huge impact.
Absolutely. We have community members that are giving money to local businesses to provide sandwiches for medical professionals and law enforcement. And they're anonymous, so we can't even thank them, but it's appreciated.
Spokane's coming through.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Thank you for all that you do, and thanks for helping us spread this light in these dark times. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Darren Duty from Generation Alive after this. Check out Community Positive, a TV show dedicated to promoting positivity. Each week we highlight business owners and community leaders doing incredible things in the Spokane community.
Saturday and Sunday at 6 on Fox 28.